I don't think I will ever forget the look on his face when he got off the bus yesterday. Dang it, why am I crying? He was so defeated.
It was so ridiculous because by the time I got home, it was 6:03.
So I want to know about your day, your experience. It was the first day. How did it go? We didn't get to do none of that. It was literally you come home, you take a shower, you eat, and go to bed.
And with that, will JCPS fix the transportation disaster, as they are calling it, by Monday? That is the big question still lingering tonight. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us on the night team. I'm Doug Proffitt. The superintendent, Marty Polio, did not talk to reporters today, despite our many requests for updates. But in his video message earlier today, said they would not go back to school until they can get kids home safely. In the meantime, parents say they don't trust JCPS, and late today, Republican Kentucky lawmakers are making their move. WHAS11's Connor Steffen is joining us live right now. And Connor, some state lawmakers want to break up JCPS into parts. What can you tell us about that?
Doug, it remains a partisan call for action tonight from GOP state lawmakers who want Governor Andy Beshear to call a special session on this issue after a disastrous first day of school.
We were on the bus for like 3 hours. Everyone had to use the bathroom. Everyone was hungry. And we were all just like sad.
That busing disaster is still somewhat of a sore subject for this family of 7.
She came off the bus covered in her own urine and immediately had to get a bath. She's a little girl, you know, you can't sit on the bus that long.
Jacqueline and Evie Kilpatrick of Highview were among the dozens, if not hundreds, of students impacted by this transportation blunder, to their parents' dismay.
Yeah, that bus was just right over here, too.
They filmed this video at 9:10 Wednesday night as their 2 elementary schoolers ran off the bus and into their arms, sobbing.
This is squarely on the board who voted this in.
Yeah.
It was a disaster.
There's simply no other way for JCPS board member Corey Schull to put it.
We're trying to get to every family to ensure that they feel heard and that they are responded to in a timely manner.
He could not confirm whether students will be back by Monday.
We will be back in school when we have an adequate plan to get every child to and from school in a safe and efficient manner.
Parents are completely outraged. They're hurt, they're scared. They're angry.
While agreeing with Schull it's unacceptable, Kentucky Representative Republican Jason Nemes of Middletown sees another path forward to solving the issue.
It's over a $2 billion operation, and so it's too big. And so even if people were competent, which our board is not competent, but even if they were competent, it's too big to manage.
Citing this as, quote, the straw that broke the camel's back, Nemes, along with several other GOP legislators, are suggesting a slate of legislative changes and asking the governor to call a special session.
But we'll get this done whether Governor Beshear agrees with it or not.
Those changes include refiling a bill to give students the right to attend their neighborhood schools. That's something JCPS brought back to the school this year, changing their student assignment plan for the first time in nearly 50 years.
We want to ensconce what they've done and move them a little bit further.
Lawmakers also want to look at splitting JCPS up into smaller districts, offering up an amendment for school choice focused on charter schools and change the school board.
I think there have consistently been efforts on the part of the Republican Party here in Kentucky to take over JCPS. What we in JCPS are committed to doing is educating the 96,000 children who enter our buildings day in and day out.
And just worried that we wouldn't get home in time to eat dinner.
Kids currently out of school as JCPS works through a disastrous busing ordeal. It's yet to be seen when facilities like the Dietrich and Nichols bus compound could be running functionally again. We also don't know when school will resume. We have asked, we do not have a date yet. We also reached out to the governor's office for comment twice today. At this time, we have yet to hear back. We're live in Shively. Connor Steffen, the WHAS 1119 on your side.
The union representing JCPS bus drivers previously warned us the first day of school was going to be a nightmare. John Stovall's drivers had been practicing the routes made by Alpha Route. That's the company JCPS hired and contracted with to help fix the busing routes and the issues. Stovall told us today drivers said the lefts and rights didn't add up and they were going all the way over across town. He says when the plan was initially released, several bus drivers quit.
You had drivers transferring out, you had drivers self-demoting, go to another department, you had drivers quit. And so now you're back to the same thing. The district invested, I guess, a lot of time and a lot of trust in this company, and it's apparent it's not going to work.
JCPS says they're looking at every route and stop to ensure efficiency, but Stovall believes there will have to be major changes to fix things, possibly by even Monday. JCPS says Alpha Route has been called back to help fix the mess, but they've also accepted help from right here in good old Louisville. UPS confirms to WHAS11 News that it called JCPS today and offered to help. They met this afternoon, but we're told the conversations were all tentative. Now, we also talked to UPS spokesman Jim Mayer in Louisville today.
We haven't defined exactly what help could be. You know, we haven't gotten to that point. It'd just be a matter of having a conversation about the potential to help.
Mayor tells us they haven't made plans for any future meetings, though. The company Alpha Route was contracted in November of 2022 to help JCPS plan the bus routes. But we learned today this isn't the first time a city has had issues with its system. Columbus, Ohio City Schools is the largest school district in Ohio and contracted Alpha Route in May of 2022. However, by September, the bus issues in Ohio weren't improving, so the district in Ohio decided to go with another company called Versatrans. Alpha Route declined an interview with us today, stating that at this time its focus needs to be on supporting JCPS and helping to problem solve. An official statement from its CEO says it's not clear to them yet what set off this mess, but they call it extremely regrettable. They go on to say that the likely cause was the significant changes combined with the new school assignment model. And they add that they are confident the new routes will work as planned. In a video message to families, Superintendent Marty Polio outlined the steps that they're taking over the next few days. He says the district will review all of the routes and bus stops for efficiency. They're also going to pay the bus drivers to practice for extra days. Polio says they need to improve communication between parents and schools, and they're also going to increase staffing at the call center. If you have any questions, that hotline number, by the way, is 485-RIDE. It'll be open again in the morning from 6 a.m. until 7 p.m. on Friday. For our full coverage of the transportation issues and how also some local attractions now in Louisville are trying to help you out with the unexpected days off with your kids, go to WHAS11.com. Now to the other top story today and all new on the night team. No new charges for Metro police officers mentioned in that scathing U.S. Department of Justice report. Details of the past incidents and body camera video were made public today, some of them 3 years old. WHAS 11 Night Team's Taylor Woods talked with community leaders about it. And Taylor, do they agree with that decision?
Well, Doug, community leaders I spoke to aren't too shocked about Louisville Metro Police Chief Jackie Gwen-Villarroel's decision of no further disciplinary action. They tell me officers need to be held accountable for their actions. Right here in this video, a Metro police officer in early June 2020, the height of the protest sweeping part of the city, police in pursuit of a suspect following a car chase. The officer's tactics got him suspended for 10 days and this case is closed. This is just one of the 60-plus incidents that are highlighted in the DOJ report. Louisville Metro Police Chief Jackie Gwen-Villarroel and her command staff were able to review 33 of those cases based on LMPD policy at the time of the incident.
The internal investigations by my executive staff and myself are complete.
Today, Chief Gwen-Villarroel determined that there will be no further punishment directly related to the DOJ's findings. Former Kentucky Justice Secretary J. Michael Brown says people shouldn't view the chief's decision as a surprise.
The DOJ report itself indicated that when they came in, they were not going to be looking at discrete instances. They were going to be looking at patterns in practice.
Chanel Helm with the Black Lives Matter Louisville says the purpose of 2020 protests were to demand disciplinary actions to hold officers accountable.
People didn't enter the street to have a parade. They entered the street angry. They entered the street mad. They entered the street hurt.
Gwen-Villarroel acknowledged that LMPD's use of force and supervision have improved prior to the DOJ report's release.
We again acknowledge what happened in the past. And we acknowledge that there were some deficiencies there. Those days are over.
Brown explains how the chief's actions so far in firing 7 other officers on the force benefits LMPD now that a federal consent decree is soon to come.
It demonstrates to all those good officers, and that's the vast, vast majority of officers, that those who don't follow the law, that those who do violate policy are going to be dealt with.
Helm agrees, saying officers need to be held accountable for their actions.
If we cannot adjudicate people who put on a uniform and then cause harm, maim, or kill somebody outrageously because of their relationship to the city leadership.
And the chief and Mayor Craig Greenberg said today they're still waiting to receive the first draft of a consent decree from the DOJ. In studio, Taylor Woods, WHAS 11 Night Team on your side.
Taylor, thank you. 3 years ago today, 19-year-old Caleb Woolen was shot and killed, and his body was dumped on the side of Manslick Road in Louisville. Today, exactly 3 years later, Elizabeth Miller, one of the two suspects in the case, pleaded guilty to 3 counts of facility to murder, robbery, and tampering with evidence. As part of the plea deal, she's expected to testify against her co-defendant. Woolen's family is not satisfied with the deal, however. They say the process has been extremely drawn out and exhausting.
I would just like to see justice, if there is such a thing, because nothing will bring him back at this point.
Yeah, there's no bringing him back.
But the mistreatment of what's left of us is unnecessarily brutal.
For the 3 counts, Miller is facing 11 to 15 years in prison. Her sentencing is currently scheduled for October 12th.